Good morning, third grade, and happy Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about area for the second time. So let's just review a little bit. 2 days ago, yesterday and last week, we did two lessons on perimeter. Perimeter is when we add the outside of the shape. So some examples of when we would use perimeter is if we're making a fence, if Mrs. Bailey is doing a bulletin board in her room and she needs to know how many feet she would need to go around the bulletin board, right? We want to know that outside. And to find the outside, it's pretty simple. Whether it's a rectangle, a triangle, a trapezoid, or irregular shape, as long as you have all of the side lengths, you can add them all together. So that's the formula for perimeter, is adding the sides, whether it's 4 sides, 10 sides, 3 sides, okay? Now, area is a little bit different. And today we're only going to be doing the area of plane figures, okay? So the way that you find area is you need to know how many squares that you can fit inside that shape. And that's for any shape. So for 10.4, you guys were given a shape and you were counting how many squares or square units were in those shapes. So today is kind of like the same thing, only we're going to be actually measuring ourselves how to measure area if we don't have those squares put in place for us, right? All right, let's begin. So for example, if I were to find the area of this yellow rectangle using 1 square inch, and that means that there's a square. And what do we know about squares? We know that squares have the same length around all of the sides. So 1, 1, 1, 1. It's a square inch. Okay, we can use other kinds of things. So we could use square centimeters. That'd be smaller because a centimeter is smaller than an inch. We can use square feet. That's very common to use square feet when we are talking about measuring for carpet or tile in our house, because square feet are bigger. So a square foot would be this big. Obviously, that's a little too big for this yellow rectangle that we have. We can also talk about square miles. So square miles are how many, obviously a square of a mile would be 5,270 feet on each side. So that's very large. So we can figure out how many houses are on a square mile. So those are the types of things that we use, but no matter what, we're finding the area by using squares. Okay, so for me, I kind of think, how many squares could I put in this rectangle if it was like a room in my house and these are the tiles that I'm using? So the question is that Jaime is measuring the area of a rectangle with 1-inch square tiles. What is the area of the rectangle? So we're going to go about this a couple different ways. So our friend Jaime, he decides that he can fit 6 of these in here. Ready? Let's see if he's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's look at that. Is he right? Is there 6 tiles? Is that the area? What does the yellow mean? The yellow right now means that is part of the floor that you did not tile over. Is that how you want your floor to look like in your house? No. So the problem is, problem number 1, 6 is not the right answer because we have gaps. Gaps means we have too little. Gaps mean that we need more tiles to be put in. So he says that the area is 6 square inches. Is he correct? No. So let's try another. Obviously, 6 is too low, so Jaime says we should do it with 10. He thinks that the answer is going to be 10. So let's see if 10 square inches is the correct answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, 5, 6 was too little. 5, 6. All right, so now we're going to keep going. 7, 8, 9, 10. Is all the yellow covered? Are there any gaps? No, there aren't any gaps, but we have a new problem now. Do you see that some of the tiles are overlapping? Like right here and right here? So these tiles are overlapped. Is that a good thing? Do you want your tiles to be stacked on top of each other if you're building a house? No. So this is another problem that we could possibly have when measuring area. Gaps means we don't have enough. Overlaps means that we have too many. Okay, so 6 is too little. He says that the area is 10 square inches. Is he correct? Nope. Sorry, Jaime. It's not 10. So what's a number between 6 and 10 that we could try? Let's try 8. Maybe 8 will be the correct answer. Are you ready for 8? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. Let's answer our 2 questions. Are there any gaps? Do you see any yellow? No. Is there any overlapping? Did any of my squares get cut off because another square is on top of it? No. So can you see how if you tiled your room this nice that you would need 6 square inch tiles? I'm sorry, not 6, 8 square inch tiles. Do you see how I've covered the entire inside, but nothing's overlapping? So if Jaime says that the area is 8 square inches, is he correct? Yes. Yes, Jaime, on your 3rd try, you got it correct. It is 8. So sometimes you'll have to do that. Sometimes you'll have to measure it yourself. You'll be given a little square and you're going to figure out how many squares are in there. So the area of the rectangle we would say is 8 square inches because we have one of these, but we have 8 of them. Okay? I also see an array. Do you remember when we made arrays when we were in multiplication? That we have 2 rows of 4? What's 2 times 4? 8. Yes. All right, let's keep going. One more example. Now we're going to find the area of this gray figure while using blue square tiles and green square tiles. So we're not going to use them at the same time. We're going to see how many blues we can fit in, and we can see how many greens we fit in. So first I'm going to make an estimate. Do you guys remember what an estimate is? An estimate is an educated guess. So my answer should be close to it. Well, this blue square kind of reminds me of my last blue square, and this gray rectangle kind of reminds me of my yellow rectangle from the past. So I'm going to say there's about 8. Is that appropriate? Is that an appropriate estimation? Yes. If I said 80, no, there's no way there's 80 of those blue squares in this gray rectangle. Okay? So then I'm going to estimate my square green tiles. Okay, well, I think I can fit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 6. What's 5 rows of 6? 5 times 6? 30. So I think there's about 30 of those little green ones, and I think there's about 8 of the big blue ones. Do you guys agree with my estimate? Would you have had different estimates? And if you did, that's fine, because estimates aren't the real answer, but it keeps us on track to finding the real one. So are we ready to figure out how many blue squares are in this rectangle? All right, so let's see. Wow, I thought I could fit 4 in each row, but I can only fit 3. Is that okay? Yes. So let's keep going. So right now I was able to fit 2 rows of 3 square tiles. So I can count them individually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or I could have done 2 times 3, which is 6 again. Pretty good, right? So the area using blue tiles is 6. Now my area using green tiles is going to be different because they're not the same size. Just like tiles come in different sizes when we were doing our house. I actually have tiles in my house that are really large. So they're not square foot tiles, which are the usual kind. They're actually 1.5 feet. So they're very large. So I didn't need so many because when I was buying and doing my house over, I didn't want to buy a lot of tile. So I didn't have to buy a lot because I had bigger tiles. Imagine if I would have gotten tiles this big. Well, then I would have needed a lot more. So let's see. Let's see how many green tiles I can fit in this gray rectangle. Well, I can fit 6 like I thought. So here's 1 row of 6. 2 rows of 6. Uh-oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit 5. 3 rows of 6. 4 rows of 6. So I can count them one by one, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Or I could do 4 rows of 6, which equals 24. See how that's a little bit easier? I could have counted them. Maybe I'll count them just to be sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, good. My multiplication was right. So if I used blue tiles, I only needed 6. If I needed green tiles, I needed 24. Big difference, right? So that's what I wanted to say. We can measure different things with different squared tiles, but measuring area, we have to use squares. All right? So one last question. This one says count to find the area of the figure. Remember, area is the inside. Each square is 1 square unit. So we have this shape. It's not a very pretty shape. It's not a pretty rectangle. But I could probably make it a rectangle if I wanted to. I could take this and I could sneak it right here, which means I'd have 3 rows of 4. So what is 3 rows of 4? 12. 12 square units. Can I count them one by one to make sure? Yes, I can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. I got 12 with multiplication. I got 12 with adding them all up by myself. So the area is 12 square units. Pretty easy. It's pretty easy when you guys are given the squares already. So if you're able to, if you have questions that don't have the squares, just remember, no gaps, no overlaps, you're good. Okay? So now is the time that you guys will be going on your personal math trainer. You have an assignment that is titled 11.5 Area Practice. That's your assignment for today, and you'll have a new assignment tomorrow and a new video tomorrow. So happy Tuesday. Bye, guys.